Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to New Mexico Entertainment Television, your place to be in the know for all things events and entertainment in New Mexico. I'm Teresa Robinson, and on this month's episode, we are covering our art issue for August. Tonight, we have award-winning costume designer Montana Levi Blanco, Maria Teresa Herrera, and Jesus Banuelos of the play Our Lady of the Tortilla, Sarah Kennedy and Kelli Trapnell of Dry Heat Comedy, Tom Frouge of Globalquerque, and artist Sonia Luévano. So, let's get started. Tony Award-winning costume designer Montana Levi Blanco is blessed for his talents and the family that encouraged it. This New Mexico native doesn't forget where he comes from and wants to be an inspiration for those who dream of a life in theater at any age, and lets others know that being from Albuquerque can lead to big things. Montana, thank you for joining us tonight to talk a little bit about your recent Tony win and just how you got started in the business. And I actually want to start because I always am happy to see those who came from here making it big outside of New Mexico. What was it like growing up here for you?
Well, I was raised by a single mother and single grandmother. My both have a love for the arts. My grandmother is she had a lampshade business, Shady Lady Lamps, for 50 years. So making lampshades and working with her hands, and I grew up, and she would, she would babysit me, and I grew up like playing with fabric and beads and really a lot of the materials that I work with now. And my mom is really an avid lover of music and performance, and she was always taking me to everything that would come through Pope Joy, things on tour, Alvin Ailey, many musicians. She's a lover of live music, and eventually, I would play. I played the oboe for many years and was in the Albuquerque Youth Symphony, and so the New Mexico Symphony Orchestra was also a really big part of kind of my growing up in New Mexico in terms of arts exposure. And I went to Highland High School.
Okay, that makes it even better. I am alumni, so you're a Hornet. That is awesome.
Oh, yeah, cool. That's great.
So, congratulations on your Tony win.
Thank you.
What was the moment like when they called out your name, and what was it like?
Really, I was just very honored. I was honored for my family, to be honest. And I was really thankful that both my mother and my grandmother are still with us to see that moment. And I was also proud of the work that I had put forward. But, theater is such a collaborative art. So really, my work is in collaboration with the set designer and the lighting designer and the director, of course, and all the performers. So I was just really grateful that Skin of Our Teeth was honored, but also grateful that I could celebrate that with my collaborators.
Well, looking at your work, it's exquisite. I love the flow of your designs, and as you said, it's a collaboration. But I have to ask, when you had your first show, when you saw your first work on a Broadway stage, what was that moment like for you?
Well, so I should say that I have been, I just had my Broadway debuts Skin of Our Teeth was actually my Broadway debut, the show that won the Tony. But the day after that show, A Strange Loop opened, which is the musical that won Musical of the Year, and I also designed that. So I kind of consider both of those shows my debut. But for many, many years, I would say at this point about 7 years, I've been working off Broadway. So I can say, I guess I can say to answer your question, thinking about maybe kind of like the first show that I ever did, really, it's really wonderful to see something come to fruition that really starts in conversation. It starts in research. It starts in kind of like storytelling and developing the storytelling with the director. And then it's really kind of special to see that very intangible craft then manifested into something that is physical. So I think that, I mean, really, I still think I have the same response to seeing work when it's on stage, just thinking about all the kind of early steps that go into that final product that we see on stage.
So, and once again, you go into the collaborative, because I always did wonder when it came to costume design, if it was, I'm sure, yeah, as a team, you got to, communicate of the feel of what it is you're trying to achieve on stage. Is there a type of inspiration there? Is there an inspiration that comes in? I know that many have a vision when it comes to their shows, but do you get to have at least a little spark of inspiration when you're creating your pieces?
Oh, absolutely. I think that, I think that there's a lot of inspirations along the journey of doing a project, but I think primarily, I really am in love with the research. And I would say that even if we're doing a piece that is a fantasy or heightened reality, that there is usually always the inspiration for whether it's the look or a specific clothing item. Most always comes from real historical research. So I really love kind of like diving in and delving into like kind of the history of a particular period, or the history of a particular type of clothing item, because I find that when you have research like that, that whatever comes after that, all the steps that come after that are then further grounded.
Yeah. So these are the moments that, like I said, I have such pride for those who came from New Mexico that are making it big in other places. So for those watching that are thinking, I want to achieve, I want to create, costume design may be my thing, what advice would you have for them?
Well, that's one thing that I think is, I think that the field in general is, I think when we think of theater, or even movies, I think that what we see is usually when we think about that, we think about the actors and we think about the directors. And I really just want to be more of an advocate for kind of what happens backstage, and that, there's a lot of roles and there's a lot of room for all types of imaginations. You have people who, I think the through line is that people who work in theater and TV and film have a love of storytelling and stories, right? But within that, we all have our different interests. So I think of people who are masters at lighting or scenic. You know, those may be people who have a little bit more of like an interest in engineering and kind of like how those things come together. And then, you know, with costume design, obviously there's an interest in clothes, but I think that, you know, the other strong component of costume design is really an interest in humans and psychology and, you know, and developing character.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that like, you know, I came to the theater quite late, actually. Well, no, I don't think there's any time. Yeah, I don't think there's any time that's too late. But you know,
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily grow up doing the theater in middle school or high school. And I found the theater at 27 after I had kind of pursued many other career paths. And so I guess that's kind of like the advice that I can put forward is that whatever your path is and whatever career you choose, that that we have to allow life to happen, and
Mm-hmm.
then we find it, you know, and 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 patience is also part of that journey.
Absolutely. So, what's in store? I mean, yeah, you were part of two Tony Award winning productions. So, what's next?
The next season I am doing some off Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the thing that I'm really excited about in this upcoming season is I will be doing an opera at the Metropolitan Opera, which will
Wow.
be my debut at the Met, and it's an opera called Champion, and it's written by Terence Blanchard. He has many titles, but he is known for his jazz compositions. But this is and so I'm really excited to do opera. In a lot of ways, opera is kind of like the pinnacle of the form
Mm-hmm.
for theater designers, because the scale is really big, and there's really a lot of, I think that there's a chorus of maybe 42 people, so you really get to create something at a scale that I've never worked at. And I think that one of the things that's really special about that too is that I can remember growing up in New Mexico, watching like PBS Masterclass
Oh,
and all of that with my grandmother at Lincoln Center
yes.
and the Met. And so to find myself working there and actually being one of the participants of making and telling these stories is really special to me.
Well, where can people find out more about you, your work, and anything that's coming up?
My website is montanaleviblanco.com, and Instagram Montana Levi Blanco as well. And I'm just really thankful that you reached out. I'm very proud to be from New Mexico. I love New Mexico. And you know, it's meaningful to be able to represent New Mexico in, you know, a small way here in New York.
Well, we are proud too, and congratulations again, and we look forward to all that's going to come out of your career.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back.
Sandia Performing Arts Company's new production of Our Lady of the Tortilla follows the Cruz family, a volatile group, even in the best of times. While dealing with the usual family dynamic, a sudden miracle sets the family into further chaos, having them struggle with beliefs and conflicts, both old and new. and discovering the endurance of family love is the real miracle. Tonight, we are glad to have the show's leads, Maria Teresa Herrera and Jesus Banuelos, to tell us more about the show and their characters.
So Maria and Jesus, thank you for joining us today to talk more about the play. So this is Our Lady of the Tortilla.
Yes.
Yeah, very interesting name. So tell us about the play and the characters you play.
Sure. You want to start?
Yeah, sure. So it's a fun comedy to welcome back into. It does follow like a Latino family, the Frouge family, and they're very like volatile and crazy sometimes in the best of times, but
As most families.
yeah, exactly. So it follows these characters. I star as Eddie Cruz, the oldest brother of them all,
And I play Dolores Cantu. And again, it really speaks to a Latino family from New Jersey, right? And again,
Interesting.
Yeah. So there's some dynamics that go on there and some polar opposites to two brothers in the same household, two sisters, right? So I play Dolores, who's, she's really a very pious woman and very religious, which is opposite of her sister, who's trying to gain back her estranged husband, Pancho. So a lot ensues within that time frame.
So it's definitely, even though, first of all, great that it's a comedy. We definitely need to laugh more. But from how it sounds, this is definitely a play that anybody can relate to.
yeah, which is nice. Like even though it takes place in New Jersey, I feel like it feels like the way it's written feels like it could fall into any Latino home across the country, and that's kind of nice. Even with my character Eddie Cruz, he's very like eccentric and like a big personality, and you'll find that in many Latino families, which is cool.
So, creating these productions, you never know who you're going to work with, so it's always interesting what it's going to be like on set. What was the camaraderie like with the other actors in the play?
Feels like an extension of my own family, which is kind of nice. Like we all come from our own Latino backgrounds, and it's kind of fun to come together, and it feels like I'm like working with my actual Tia on set, so that's kind of cool.
How about you?
Well, I think, too, it speaks to the diversity, right, of age and caste and gender, all of the above, but also really it's a reflection of the show as well, because specifically, I think Dolores, she has a line which really stands out to me that says, he thinks because my name is Dolores Cantu, I can make tortillas, right? So I think it speaks to the idea of Hispanics not being a monolith, right? Which oftentimes it's like, okay, well, the same ideas and the same culture. No, we celebrate the richness of the tradition. And I think with our cast, we are doing that. So it really mirrors and really reflects the diversity of our casts.
Yeah. I know everybody's going to take something away from this, but what do you hope the audience takes away when they see this play?
I definitely want them to take away just the importance of family, and just importance of time, Like I want them to be able to reflect watching our family on stage and kind of reflect on their own and kind of think about their siblings, and like their own family and why it's important to be together even with the differences that they may have.
And I think it's about celebrating family and culture, right? A lot of times, a lot of the action happens in the kitchen, right? Or talking about the issues, right? So even though we are all different, but we have some similarities in situations, right? So I think really celebrating family, celebrating tradition, celebrating those moments that seem chaotic, but in the grand scheme of things, they're really important milestones in a family's time together.
Absolutely. So where can we learn more about this production?
Well, we'll definitely be promoting everywhere, just like this interview. But you could definitely find it on the website for the Sandia Performing Arts, and also, what was the other place?
So Sandia Performing Arts Company website, so www.spacnm.org.
Very nice.
and then also the Hispanic Cultural Center.
Yes.
So we'll be selling tickets through the Hispanic Cultural Center because the venue is going to be at the Hispanic Cultural Center. So they're one of our great partners that have allowed us to use the space. So
wonderful. Well, Maria and Jesus, thank you so much for telling us more about this play, and good luck. We look forward to seeing it.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back.
Married duo Sarah Kennedy and Kelli Trapnell has accomplished where many have failed. New owners of Albuquerque's latest comedy club in years, Dry Heat Comedy, are determined to provide a space of laughter and quality entertainment. Tonight they talk about their accomplishment, upcoming events, and their AI art comedy event. Sarah and Kelli, thank you for joining us. Congratulations on the opening of Dry Heat. You accomplished something, a feat that apparently could not happen with anybody else after all the years of laughs closing, and it's just been a challenge. So how's it feel to accomplish something that seemed to be a challenge for everybody else?
Pretty good. I feel great about it.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. I back at the beginning of the year, I started a podcast to kind of figure out, like, what is it? Why don't we have this? And I got to interview people who have done, like, we had one that lasted about a year. We had one that was right about to open, and then it didn't get there. And then those were the 2 attempts in the time since last was open. And so just like trying to learn from those people, trying to learn from everybody who's been impacted by not having a club. And so it's I hope that we were able to take what we learned and actually turn it into something that has legs and will last for a long time.
Well, you guys got to do the grand opening last week. Awesome performances that were there. How do you go about choosing who goes on stage?
It's a really good question. There's a lot of things that Sarah can get into in just a second, but on our website we have kind of information about who we book and why, who we don't book and why, but Sarah can get into it a little more in depth.
Yeah, so a big part of it is safety. So we want to make sure that our audience feels comfortable to come into the space. We want to make sure that our performers feel comfortable when they're performing in the space. So the clearer we can be about expectations, the better it is for everybody. And so when we say things like safety, we mean people who are hateful, but we also mean people who juggle chainsaws and deal with fire. We can't have that. We can't have that in our space. And so we just lay it all out where it's there's a whole bunch of ways to know if you're a good fit for us or not.
Right. And you've been to the space. It's pretty close. You're pretty close to the stage. So something like, super in-depth, crowd participation roast type thing would be
a little hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I've been to the space. I like the intimacy of it. Was that one of the things that you were thinking about when you were how am I going to vision this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was really, really important because any good stand-up comedy show makes you feel like you are part of a big group, and then it also makes the performer feel like they are kind of I don't know, it's hard to explain, but the closer everybody can be, the more cohesive everybody can be, and the experience is just better every single time. The laughs come in a bigger way, and just everything about it is better that way.
Plus, a lot of the clubs that we've been to or produced shows in the past are built more like that, where they're more intimate. Like QED in Queens is built that way. The Denver Comedy Underground, even though it's a little bit bigger than ours, is built that way. And so it's just, we as audience members and producers and Sarah as a performer have liked rooms that feel like that. So we kind of tried to replicate that ourselves.
Just really pulling the audience in as you perform. So I definitely want to, one of the big things that I've been trying to focus on as you're a producer and performer in this town is really showing the quality that we have here. Because I think we can't do more, and it's obvious that we can't because we have enough talent in this town to make it happen. So we have a lot of talented comedians in this town. I can only imagine what it was like when the announcement went out that you were opening this club. But I know that some folks in the town are going to be like, well, what about national acts? What about big names? Is that in the works for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's so nice. Our space is very small. We've got 45 people capacity, so little, but we've already had so many people from across the country reach out and say that they're interested in coming here. So already, a little bit later in the month, we have Akeem Woods, who has been on Corden, and he is about to be on HBO, and he's really incredible. And then we're going to have Brad Wenzel, who's been on Conan 3 times, and just amazing people that Kelli and I have met throughout our entire time doing comedy, but also just through word of mouth know about us and what we're doing. And so people from all over the country are reaching out because they want to be here and they want to experience Albuquerque and do comedy here. And that makes my heart grow 3 sizes just because knowing that.
Yeah, that is good to hear. So I have to mention, which I find absolutely cool, you probably have the most diverse business. I mean, you both are married, so already, as I see it, role models in the LGBTQ community. And the comedians that take that stage, I mean, is the most diverse group of comedians that are coming on the stage. So how does it feel to kind of create that bridge in this town?
Well, I think what's so wonderful about Albuquerque comedy is that there is just such a variety of points of view. Like, different ages get up on stage, different genders, different races, different everything, different points, like just different, like, life lived. And there are so many cities where you can go and you'd look at a poster for any given show and it would just be 4 of the exact same white guy. Like, so, like, we are so lucky to get to have such a variety. And what's nice for me and Kelly is that we're able to showcase that with every single show. Like, every show has, like, just a wide array of different kinds of people, which is good.
Yeah. We were looking at our lineups for opening weekend and we were like, this is pretty awesome.
Yeah,
we're proud of this. Like, it's very cool to have such talented people here. So.
Absolutely. So what can we expect coming up in the next few months?
Oh, we do the silliest stuff. That's the best part.
That's the fun part.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got, like I said, we have Akeem coming, and this group from Omaha called Prairie Madness is coming. Then we have a show called Sight Gag that we ran for the first time last night, where we have artificial intelligence create visual art based off of, like, comedians' jokes.
So I know that actually was one of the inspirations for you opening the club. How exactly? Because every time I read it, I'm like, so are you talking to an AI? Are they created? Like, are you saying, like, I want you to do, like, how does it work?
So while the comedians are performing, I'm at the computer feeding the AI the topics that they're talking about and everything that they bring up, and then I hit generate, and then it just creates an art piece based off everything they've talked about for their whole set.
It's really cool.
Some of the pictures I've seen are outrageous.
Yeah,
they're outrageous.
they really are.
So that's how that works. Okay.
Yeah. So we got that one, and then
Brian Valencia, who's from here, is doing his headlining set at the end of the month, with some people from Denver coming in to support him.
And we're doing a mom show, so that's going to be a Sunday show during the day at 2 p.m. so that moms can also, I mean, not everybody can go out late night, and comedy is, like, traditionally a nightlife thing, but our space can be open whenever people want to come by. And so we figured, what's one group that could really use a laugh in the middle of the day? And it's probably moms. So,
Thank you. Thank you. You would be right.
Yeah.
You would be right.
That was one of the shows that, like, a lot of our supporters and community backers really, really, really wanted. They were like, please, something during the day. So,
yeah, funny enough, during your grand opening, I was also dealing with a wedding.
Oh my gosh.
A reunion ceremony, and I left to go to the grand. And when I got back, one of my friends was just like, yeah, we gotta go out. I don't get to go out as often. I was just like, so you saying that, you're gonna do very well. You're gonna do very well with that one. Well, Sarah and Kelly, thank you so much. I know you got to get back to the club, but thank you for coming on tonight and talking with me. Where can people find out more about the club?
So the best way to keep in touch with us, I'm going to look right into the camera.
Wait.
Camera? No, I'm
this one?
camera.
This one.
All right. Camera? The best way to keep in touch with me and Kelly and the club is to go to dryheatcomedyclub.com. We have a calendar there. All of our tickets can be found on holdmyticket.com. And then also, if you follow us on Instagram, we are really, really active on Instagram. We are Dry Heat Comedy.
That's it.
That's it.
At Dry Heat
At Dry Heat Comedy. That's it.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back.
Globalquerque is back with their live event, and it is bigger and better than ever. Celebrating 18 years of world music and culture, the event will bring not only back its traditional lineup, but provide some new surprises as well. Director and producer Tom Frouge is here tonight to tell us more about it.
So, Tom, thank you for joining us tonight. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you
I am excited that the concert's now back live, not through a screen. So,
Yes.
what can we expect from this year's show?
Well, it's Globalquerque's 18th year, and as you say, we're coming back. So we looked at this year as kind of the reemergence, the relaunching of Globalquerque after the past couple of years. And so we decided to do a couple things. First of all, we're coming back to full bloom. We're going to have all our free programming, our school program,
Wonderful.
our film series, which is a month-long thing. But we decided to do a couple things. We decided to add a segment, which is Thursday night. We're going to have an opening silent disco global headphone dance party with 2 New Mexico DJs spinning global grooves. But then the headphones come off at the end of the night, and Son Rampapetta from Mexico City is going to do a free concert. And that'll be at the National Hispanic Cultural Center as well. We also decided to ask some of our friends who have performed at Globalquerque through the years back. And we picked a couple bands that when they came, they were unknown, and now they're kind of on the world music top of the heap.
Yeah.
Notably Daka Braka from Ukraine. They performed at Globalquerque in 2013. We were the second venue that they played in North America. They flew into New York, played New York, and then flew to Albuquerque and played Globalquerque. So they're coming back, and they just played Newport Folk Festival. They sold out the Barbican in London a couple months ago. They're really stellar. Obviously, what's going on in Ukraine even makes it more, underscores it more, although we were talking to them before the war started. Another artist we're bringing back is Karen Alawalia from India, who played the second Globalquerque, I think. And since then, she has gone on to win 2 Juno Awards, Songline Awards, like all, collaborated with Tanara Wynn and Fado singers, and she's bringing a whole, she's based in traditional Indian music, but she brings this whole contemporary cross-cultural thing to her music. And we're bringing back our old friend Robert Maribel from Taos Pueblo.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like the returns, but Globalquerque's always been a festival where even if you know the band, the band you kind of know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Come Sunday, the bands that people are talking about are the bands they discovered. That's always the case. The other thing is we have kind of 2 different tracks going through Globalquerque this year. One is Ukrainian, for probably obvious reasons. We are on Wednesday night of Globalquerque Week as part of the International Cinema Series. We're showing a Ukrainian documentary called "The Earth is Blue as an Orange," and then we are going to have, during our free programming on Saturday, we're doing, as part of our international dance lessons, we're doing Ukrainian folk dance, and we're going to have a craft for kids to make Ukrainian stick puppets.
Oh, cool.
And then, of course, Daka Braka playing on Saturday night. And then the other track is, typically during our day programming, we choose an immigrant community from Albuquerque or from New Mexico, and we have a community focus. This year we decided to make the community focus northern New Mexico, because one of the things that people aren't talking about, they're talking about destruction of life and property up there, but not the potential destruction of culture through displacement. So we're going to have a series of things running through the day programming. David Garcia is going to do a thing on tragedy ballads. Our state historian, Rob Martinez, is doing a thing, a workshop called New Mexico History Through New Mexico Traditional Music.
Interesting.
And we're going to have punch tin crafts for kids.
Ooh.
And then we're adding the day programming this year, which is free. It's on Saturday from 10 to 3:30. Three Sisters Kitchen is joining us to do food demos. They're bringing in one of the chefs from Paper Dosa in Santa Fe to do Southern Indian food. We're going to have films for both kids and adults. We're going to have 4 hours of international dance lessons, including Haitian, speaking of the Caribbean. We're also going to have Northern New Mexico La Marcha, a dance, and then we're going to end the day program with a big La Marcha on the plaza that will turn into a parade
My goodness, you have something for everyone. Like there's not a moment that
And that's
anybody's
just the
going to
free
be.
stuff I'm talking about.
Wow.
And then the nighttime, so Friday, Saturday night is the 3 stages, 10 performances a night, and it will be bands from
Here we go. Let's see if you can
India. Oh, you want to know them?
Yeah,
so
let's do
Karen
it.
Alawalia from India, Voxembo from Haiti, Daka Braka from Ukraine, Pulup from Estonia, Kolonian from Sweden, Bazerto All-Stars from Colombia, Making Movies, Panama, USA, Nuevo Luna, which is a commission we're doing with 3 younger northern New Mexican songwriters. They're going to do kind of a northern New Mexico guitar pull.
Ooh.
You know, like what country people do,
Yeah.
but with northern New Mexico songs. Al-Balali Sudan from Mali, Madalitso Band from Malawi, Yama Ensemble from Israel, and then we're also doing a world premiere commission, and this you're going to get the scoop here because we haven't announced it.
Whoa.
It's a band called Arkai. They are a Japanese-American classical duo. It's the first time we've ever worked with. We're doing a cross-genre thing, and we're doing this with Chamber Music America, which I never thought I'd be saying, but
That is going to be an interesting
well,
collaboration.
what they're going to do is they're collaborating with the percussionists from Nosotros and some other surprise guests. They're going to come in early, so we're going to do a commission. Friday night they'll play just their thing, and you're not going to hear Mozart. They like plug in.
Yeah.
You know. But then Saturday night we're going to do the world premiere of this thing that we commissioned with CMA.
Oh, that is exciting.
And I'm missing somebody. Sorry.
Considering you got through, you got through 14.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
That's not bad.
But it's up on globalquerque.org.
Yeah. So I want to talk about Sean.
Adrian Wall. Adrian Wall from Jemez and Robert Maribel as well, from Taos. Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about Sean Wells and this amazing artwork for this year's poster. How did you collaborate? How did you come together to create?
Well, since the beginning of Globalquerque, or almost the beginning, every year we choose a New Mexican artist, and the caveat to do our poster image. And the caveat is that you have to have been to Globalquerque, and we have to like your art. But after that, we just say, give us your vision of Globalquerque. It's how I met my wife. That's a whole other story. Sean has been a long time vendor in the Global Village of Craft Culture and Cuisine, which happens throughout the festival, both the Friday and Saturday, both during the free. And it's, artisan crafts and artists and international food and blah, 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 blah. And she's been on our short list for a long time. And I asked her this year, and she was like, and so the poster is really interesting because she started doing it with people, and she said to me, she goes, I feel like I'm going to miss a group. So she took animals from all the continents and depicted them playing different instruments, and there's some Easter eggs in there, and then the audience is coyotes for New Mexico.
It is a beautiful piece.
Yeah, it's big. The original will be at Globalquerque for people to see.
And another collaboration you did was with Sheeran Winery.
Yes.
And as I thought, you didn't make your own wine, but frankly, anytime there's wine, it's a great thing. So so tell us about that.
Well, so Sheeran is so for years we had Vivak Winery as our official wine of Globalquerque, and they have gotten so big that during Globalquerque, for winos out there, the grape crush is going on.
Ooh.
And they couldn't, because they're up in Dixon, and they're just like, we can't do it. We love so they said, but we have this friend. And so Michelle at Vivak introduced me to Sean at Sheeran. And he was like, oh yeah, I want to. And what's great about it, he's in the South Valley. So there's that connection to the center and to where Globalquerque has always been. And so he's now the official wine of Globalquerque.
Looking forward to that one.
Yeah, along with, and I should say Santa Fe Brewing's the official suds.
The official sets.
Of Globalquerque.
So where can people find out more about the event?
Globalquerque.org.
Best place to go.
Everything's up there. There's a lot of information. There's multiple tabs. I would like to say if you are a school or a homeschooler, we do a special school program that is not open to the public on Friday morning of the festival at the center. It's by reservation. It's free. And two of the visiting artists do age-appropriate interactive performances for schools. And this year it's going to be Kolonian from Sweden and Karen Alawali from India. And so if you can go up to, it's called Globalquerque, and you can go, there's a tab and it'll say how schools can register. And our record is 1,800 kids on the plaza. Wow. Yeah, so.
Well, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to this year's
and
event.
Hopefully,
yes, I would be more than happy.
Okay, shall we announce you're going to be one of the
yes,
one of the 2022 stage MCs?
Hooray!
We don't know what night yet, but we'll figure it out.
I'm honored. I'm so excited. So
Yeah.
Tom, thank you for stopping by and telling us about it, and looking forward to it.
Okay.
We'll be back. An artist with a BA in visual arts and studies in sacred art and interior design, Sonia Luévano is a true Renaissance woman who pours life into every canvas she touches. To her, art is innate. It is a part of her. Tonight we talk to her about her new studio, her mission with her art, and bringing fine art to a new level. Sonia, thank you for joining me tonight to talk more about your amazing art.
No problem, pleasure.
So we're going to start with how it began. Where did your inspiration come from? Was it something that started with childhood or something you grew into?
I have always super been into art. My mom saved pictures when I was like 2, where I was drawing like a circus happening, and it just blossomed from there. And I went to college for art. I was in band in high school. I almost went for music. And after a lot of deliberating between design and art and back and forth, and taking a year off of college, I decided to settle on fine art, studio art, gallery art, all that. And and just through existential crises and analyzing my brain and my spirit and everything, it evolved into new, more surreal style as I got older.
Well, the thing I find interesting, I mean, your pieces are like nothing I've seen before, and that's saying something when it comes to art. And
it's either really good or really bad.
Exactly, and I like it. It makes you think. Anytime you come up with something, I'm always thinking like, gosh, where'd that come from? But you have an interesting take when it comes to your art. What's your mission when it comes to your art?
My mission is always to bring beauty into what may seem ugly, or light into what may seem dark, to bring hope to people, to the viewer who may feel alone or not heard or not loved or anything. Just something to show, like, in order to be human and to be a living, loving creature, we don't have to be perfect. but there's always the beauty in the mundane and some light in the darkness. Yeah.
So you have recently opened a new studio, and you're actually incorporating more into it, which is interior design as well.
I actually dropped interior design when I was in college. I went to a private Christian school that was like affiliated with another one where they sent their design students, and being at a private school, there was curfew, and it didn't allow for the number of studio hours I needed to fulfill without like taking 2 years longer to graduate. And so I dropped it for that time being and regretted it always. And so I am currently working on getting my certification for residential interior design. And so I'm incorporating that more into my studio. I just bought a really amazing old-timey drafting table to put into my studio to be along my paints and my easel as well. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So when it comes to the overall, I mean, when it comes to fine art, I feel that some immediately think of Santa Fe. So, and then there's you, who's downtown Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Was that deliberate? Were you looking for, showcasing that there are artists here in Albuquerque that just can't be found in Santa Fe?
Absolutely. Like, I'm not from New Mexico. And when my sister was trying to convince me to move to New Mexico, she's like, oh, you'll love it. You'll love the art. And I was thinking Santa Fe.
Yep.
I'm like, I don't do, like, touristy art. I don't do, like, I just did landscape. I typically don't do landscapes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to go to Santa Fe. She's like, no, let me drive you through downtown. And I was like, what? And this was 2011. And I could tell there were a bunch of murals downtown and everything, nothing like what it is now. I almost moved to Chicago or New York or Portland or something, but it's like, to be a thriving artist there, you need to have gone to school there, you needed to know somebody, and I didn't want to end up homeless. Like, I had some friends that happened to.
Yeah.
And when she drove me through downtown Albuquerque, I'm like, I feel like something's about to happen here. I need to be here. And literally the day after I graduated college, packed up my stuff and drove out here.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Where can people find your work, see more of it, and learn more about you?
They can find my work at Mothership Alumni, and that is on 4th Street. My studio is up there in the 2nd story, and I love it. It's beautiful. Like, you have to come and see it. It's my literal dream
That
studio.
is a plan.
Like,
That is a plan.
I was there at like 4 in the morning, exaggerating. 4 in the morning the other day after dropping my dad off at the airport. I was like, I'll go to the studio, and just sitting there on my Victorian sofa, looking out the window, drinking my coffee. It was my dream.
Oh my goodness.
My absolute dream.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, and so you have to come check it out. And art walks, I don't know, every month.
It's become a popular thing. Yes.
Yeah, every month, and I'll be there for Open Studio for Art Walk, and every once in a while my art is over at my husband's coffee shop downtown, Castle Coffee. Plug that in there.
There you go. Nice plug.
And also my website, sonialuévano.com, and if you go there, you can find all my social media, Instagram, Facebook. I do not think I put TikTok on there, but...
Yeah, you're a TikToker.
I am a TikToker, but I tend to be more goofy. Somebody said I give off a Pee Wee Herman vibe, but I think I'm okay with that. And
that's what makes you you.
Yeah.
Well, Sonia, thank you for coming in. I'm excited about the new studio, and I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back.
This is your New Mexico Entertainment in 60. The New Mexico Shakespeare Festival is back. This free event will feature plays King Lear and As You Like It. The festival runs from August 5th through September 3rd at Veteran Memorial Park in Albuquerque. The Art of Indigenous Fashion exhibit offers insight into the approaches and perspectives of Indigenous fashion designers. The exhibit runs from August 19th through July 8th at the II Museum of Contemporary Native Art in Santa Fe. Join monsters from around the multiverse to engage in a clash for the ages at the Meow Wolf Monster Battle. Kids and adults will descend on the Santa Fe Plaza to celebrate music and mayhem. Monster Battle is on August 25th in Santa Fe. This has been your New Mexico Entertainment in 60. For more events and entertainment, visit nmentertains.com.
Thank you for joining us tonight on this month's episode of New Mexico Entertainment Television. Join us next month as we'll be covering our September issue, which is our music issue. Have a great night.
For more events and entertainment, visit nmentertains.com.